Hey guys, this is Comic Uno and Comic Frontline, and here is another edition of Comic Uno episode 81. And this is a show where I review all the comics I read this week in one show. So let's get started. We're going 15 all the way to 1. So worst pick of the week to best pick of the week. And only 15 comics this week. So a normal amount of comics. I'm really happy about that. I don't love going over the 20 issue mark. But you know what? There's a lot of great comics out there to buy. But let's start. Number 15, of course, is that wonderful weekly series we like to call Earth 2 World's End issue 15. I know, a lot of people, especially last week, was asking me, Kat, like, why do you still get these weekly series? And every week I question the same thing. But you know what? I dedicated myself for Two Worlds End 15 weeks. Batman Eternal 40-something. Future's End 37. So I have to see it by the end. If this was just a start, I'd be like, Earth 2, goodbye. Especially Earth 2. I think I would stick to Future's End and Batman Eternal a bit more, especially Batman Eternal, because Batman Eternal is not that bad. Just, has its low points. Earth 2 World's End has been my worst pick of the week for a long time now. I feel that the stories just aren't connected enough, and we know how it ends. And I think that's the worst part about this series. But I'm very excited for it to be over soon. But I will be sticking through it, even though I'm not a big fan of it. I just dedicated too much money and time to it, so I will be finishing it. So what happened in this issue is, the thing I do like with this issue is Dick Grayson's story and Clark and Lois's story. And Clark dies in the end of this issue because he sacrifices himself for his family. And I thought that was a really good moment. But then everything else in the beginning was so boring. I'm like, I really don't care about Jimmy Olsen. I really don't care about Darkseid. I think he's a pretty boring villain here. So pretty much 3/4 of the issue I don't like. But then when we get to Dick Grayson and Clark, I'm like, oh, this is interesting stories. And none of it's really connected. Okay, Earth 2's ending, but where are we going with this story? That's my biggest problem here. But the artwork is still pretty good for the series, so I can't really dog on that. But overall, Earth 2 World's End is my worst pick of the week with 2 stars. Alright, so let's move on to number 14, which is another weekly series, Future's End, issue 37. This, just, again, with World's End, I think the stories just don't connect. They feel like short stories that keep being told throughout the whole series. It's like, oh, let's learn more about 52, but then we're going to talk about Batman Beyond, which we haven't seen them together. It's been 37 issues. What the hell are they doing in the same series? And that's what it feels. It really does feel like short stories. But there are some issues I do like, and some short stories I like with this series, like not Batman Beyond, but Firestorm. I think Firestorm's a really interesting character, and she tries to take away her powers here. It doesn't quite work, and she might die. So we'll see how that works out for her. But also 52's gotten a little bit more interesting, especially with her relationship with Lana, so that was okay. Constantine and Superman, okay. And also that Constantine, oh, he died in the last issue. It's like, it's so obvious he didn't die because he was still with Superman. So I was like, what type of cliffhanger is that? He's like, oh wait, I didn't die. Like, that's so obvious. So, as you can see, I do like the series a bit better. I think some of the stories are a bit less boring, I guess, than World's End, but Future's End still gets 2 stars for me. There's not a lot of progression, and the only story I honestly like is the Firestorm story. So, Future's End, issue 37, gets 2 stars. Alright, let's move on to number 13, which is Justice League United, issue 8. Yeah, so Batman Eternal is not the next one. It's Justice League United. I'm not a big fan of the Legion of Superheroes, but another series I just read, another story arc I just read too many issues that's almost over, so why not, like, see it through? Maybe there will be some story that connects to Justice League United, but most of this issue is Legion of Superheroes and why they go back in time, and then they have to defeat the villain Infinitus. And that's the big villain, and they're going to have to try to defeat them with Justice League United and Legion of Superheroes. And again, I'm not really a big fan of them, so this is not really an entertaining issue for me, but if you are a fan of them, I think you will like it. You get to see all these characters come together to try to defeat this main villain. But I don't think the story really progressed that much, and for a title that's called Justice League United, they were hardly in this issue. And that really disappointed me because I do like this series. I really do like the chemistry of the team. So hopefully once this is over, we'll actually see more of the team. We haven't seen enough of the team yet. I don't think we saw enough of them in Justice League America because of all the events that were tied into it, and we still haven't seen enough of it in Justice League United. I don't think they should have tied in this Legion of Superheroes story with this series at this moment. So Justice League United, for me, gets 3 stars. The artwork definitely pushed it up for me because the artwork is really great for this series, but the story just really lagged for someone that just didn't care for the characters, and for a series that's called Justice League United. So that gets 3 stars for me. Okay, so number 12 is Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man, issue 9. Again, a little bit lower than I want this series to be, especially since this is mostly pick of the week last year, and now it's kind of going down, but mostly because of the story arc itself. I don't think Miles' father should tell his story for 2 issues. Even though I think the story was very touching, it redid its the relationship between Miles and his father, and now they have a good relationship. I like that, but overall, we did not need 2 issues of that. It's pretty much the same thing in this issue of how Miles' father was part of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then he says, no, I don't want to be part of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore, and that's why he's kind of jealous of his son, and he really couldn't deal with him being Spider-Man, but he's now like, hey, can you forgive me? And Miles is like, okay. So I'm sure the story's going to play into something. Brian Michael Bendis wouldn't tell it if it didn't, but it just didn't need 2 issues for me, and the artwork is okay. I just like David Marquez's artwork a lot better. It's a bit dark here. So for me, I gave Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man, 3 stars. It wasn't a bad issue, but I don't think it needed 2 issues to tell this story. Alright, so what are we up to now? We are up to number 11. We are up to. So number 11 is Star Wars issue 1. I'm sure people, you're shocked. Your jaw is on the floor right now. How is Star Wars like kind of in the lower spectrum of this list? For me, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. I gave this a try as a new reader. You know, it's a huge issue, so I didn't want to not give it a try. And I wanted to see if I would get into Star Wars because of this, see what everyone's talking about, because I've not seen all the Star Wars movies. Another shocker. I've seen the first movie, you know, the original movie, and then I saw Revenge of the Sith when it came out in theaters. Other than that, I've not seen all the Star Wars movies, so yeah. So I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, you're not a true geek by being by saying that." But you know, I'm not a big cosmic fan either, so that's another reason. But I gave Star Wars a try, and it wasn't a bad issue at all, and I can see why Star Wars fans would love this series. The artwork's great, the action was really good for this issue, but my biggest problem was, as a new reader, I didn't really connect to the characters. And of course, these are such famous characters, so again, people that like Star Wars are probably going to love this issue. But yeah, I just didn't really connect to it. I don't know if I would get the second issue. I think I would try the Princess Leia miniseries, and I would try the Darth Vader miniseries if Gillen wasn't writing it. But yeah, so overall, Star Wars for me gets 3.5 stars. I thought the artwork was very good. I was kind of pumped up to see the Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker fight, but again, I have too much on my pull list, and you have to drop some stuff, but I'm not a true Star Wars fan, so I'm not going to get issue 2, but I am glad I tried issue 1 out. So Star Wars issue 1 for me gets 3.5 stars. Okay, so now we're up to number 10, which is Silver Surfer issue 8. Yeah, so Silver Surfer. Pretty good issue. You know, it continues with Norrin and Dawn's friendship, and seeing that they really grow close together, and then she finds out that he killed trillions of people, and she doesn't like that idea. And Galactus is getting a hold of Silver Surfer now and finds him. So, you know what? This is a pretty good issue. Artwork was, of course, very well done. I know some people don't love Allred's artwork, but I do like his artwork, and I think it fits a lot for the Silver Surfer series. That's always great. And one thing that drags me into the Silver Surfer book, I usually don't get Silver Surfer books as much as I like the Fantastic Four, and he's very connected to the Fantastic Four. I'm, again, not a big cosmic fan, but I think Dawn really grounds this series, and, you know, we all know that Dan Slott's a big Doctor Who fan, and you can see a lot of those elements in this book. So, I think that's kind of fun about the book, too. And it's this guy who's always been alone finally having someone to talk to. And I think that elevates the book a lot more. And then her finding out the true colors of Silver Surfer, I think, is a big progression for this book. So overall, did it shock me? I'm like, oh my god, I love Silver Surfer? No, but it's always kind of towards the middle of my pull list. It's still a very fun book to read, and I want to see where this relationship goes between Dawn and Norrin. So Silver Surfer for me gets 3.5 stars, and I like where the story's going. It's always progressing in an interesting direction. I think we're up to number 9 now. Alright, number 9 is Batman Eternal, issue 41. Yeah, so Batman Eternal's not in the worst pick of the week zone. It's actually towards the middle. This issue is interesting, because we get to see the Bat family, thank God, again. And also the introduction of Bluebird, I think her name is, and that's Harper Rowe's new character. And it's the Bat family saying, hey, like, I understand you want to save your brother, but you really don't want to get into this. And they're now being controlled by the nanobots that were part of, I think, Future's End also, but also part of Batman Eternal, like this side story going on. And it's a Bat family trying to save the day, but they're all under control, and the only person that can save them is Harper Rowe. And I really, really like the artwork here. It's the same artist, I think, or the same type of art as Batgirl. And I like the trendiness of Batgirl. I'll get to Batgirl, but I like the trendiness of Batgirl. And honestly, I want to talk about her character a bit here. I thought she was a bit in character. Even though she was wearing that, you know, trendy costume, or new costume, she actually acted like Barbara. She was yelling at Harper because, you know, her father's still in jail, supposedly, at least in Batman Eternal. And she's saying, oh, well, you know, this is family business. I don't even know who you are. And that felt very Batgirl to me, at least at the moment of her dealing with her father being in jail. At least the angry Batgirl that kind of we need to see as a character moment. So, I thought she was very in character here, which is interesting. And again, it's great to see the Bat family together, working together, in Harper Rowe going into action, her becoming Bluebird finally. And also finally seeing Stephanie. I mean, how many issues has it been since that? And she gets captured, so we already know that from Batman issue 28, or 26, whatever it was, about 10 issues ago, when we found out, you know, what was going on with Batman Eternal. So we'll see where that goes. And honestly, I really enjoyed this issue. So 3.5 stars for me for Batman Eternal. Alright, so now we're up to number 8, which is Batgirl, issue 38. Yeah, this is, you know, towards the middle of my list, and just like in my previous reviews of Batgirl, I have problems, but I also like this series. It's really weird, because I like the trendiness of the book. You know, I was kind of making, you know, a little bit of a joke of it for Batman Eternal, but I do like that it's kind of trendy, it's hip. I like that. But what I don't like about it is that I feel like there's this missing piece. Like, how the hell did Barbara get to this place? You know, Gail Simone's Barbara, and then you get this Barbara. Like, where did that happen? And I feel like they're starting to fill in the blanks a bit here, with this issue. Black Canary saying, hey, this is not the person you should be. What would Batman think? And then her boyfriend, who doesn't even know she's Batgirl, just talking about Batgirl, saying, is it right that she is Batgirl? You know, having all this fame, but kind of putting civilians in danger. So it's Barbara kind of rethinking everything she's been doing, but at the same time saying, I've been through so much, I need to have fun. But when did she actually, like, have that process in her brain to say, I've been through so much, let me have fun? Like, I don't remember that process, and I feel like we kind of need an issue 0 of Batgirl. See, like, what made her change from Gail Simone's Batgirl to this Batgirl, and I think that would make me a bit happier with the book. But overall, I still like the book. I like this new boyfriend. I like the art style. Even though maybe the costume doesn't protect her as much as her old costume, I still kind of like the colors of this book. And I like the main story arc of someone knowing that she's Barbara and knowing that she's Batgirl. So I like those stories. So that's why I'm kind of like iffy on it. I know there's problems. Also my in-depth review, I mentioned that she's supposed to have the greatest memory ever, and her boyfriend's like, oh, remember you told me that your mother, the stuff that happened with your mother and your brother, and she's like, oh, I guess I did tell you. It's like, you're Barbara Gordon, you should know if you told or not, and you didn't tell, and some alarms should be going off in your head, not like kind of swifting it off. So that kind of like, as someone that loves character, it's her character's a bit inconsistent, even for this series. We know her memory's great in this series, not just Gail Simone's series. So overall, I gave Batgirl issue 38 3.5 stars. Again, I'm so torn on it, because there's stuff I like about it, but then there's, you know, stuff I don't like about it. Alright, so let's move on to number 7, which is S.H.I.E.L.D. issue 2. You know, with S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't know if I'm going to get every issue of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it seems more of a one-shot thing, but at the same time, I really did like this issue because we get to learn a little bit more about Simmons, which I don't even think we have a chance in the TV show to learn more about her, but we learn about her family, and her family thinks that she's not a scientist, but a party planner. And her kind of relating to Miss Marvel in a way. And Miss Marvel was greatly written here. She wants to save the day. She has, like, this kind of quiz with Coulson to see who knows more about superheroes, which is super fun, because we all know that Coulson knows about superheroes. We all know Miss Marvel's a fangirl. So that's a really fun aspect of this issue. It's also S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to protect Miss Marvel from being that bigger hero, which I feel like all the heroes are trying to be. It's like, yeah, you're a great hero, but you should build yourself up. You shouldn't make your world so big. Just kind of go towards the smaller heroics and then grow as a hero. And I love that pretty much the whole Marvel Universe is rooting for her, just like everyone, you know, a lot of Marvel fans are rooting for Miss Marvel. So overall, this was a really fun issue. Artwork by Ramos, I thought was really well done. I think it fits Miss Marvel very well, which is great. So I like the artwork, and I like Simmons and Miss Marvel's friendship going on here. Simmons really having to trust Miss Marvel here and giving her business cards. So overall, I think Miss Marvel, or S.H.I.E.L.D. issue 2, gets 4 stars for me. But I will only get issues that I feel like the characters are interesting, because I do feel that S.H.I.E.L.D.'s a bit more of a one-shot book than a continuing book, and I think that is going to be a fault for S.H.I.E.L.D. Alright, let's move on to number 6, which is Daredevil, issue 12. Yeah, didn't make top 5, but still a really solid book. I do think issue 11 was a bit better, just kind of building up to those twists. But this issue has a lot of twists, too. We get to find out that the guy that he was trying to represent, the past Daredevil, set everything up, and Daredevil has to deal with that, and it's like, oh, why did he lie to me? And I guess this issue is really about not about this Daredevil guy, or this ex-Daredevil, but it's about who Daredevil could trust. He can't always trust his senses. He has to kind of trust people without his powers. And he says, I love you, to Kristen McDuffie. So that relationship is also expanding a bit. And of course, the artwork is beautiful. And again, there's a lot of great twists and turns with this issue. And it was just a very solid issue that I really enjoyed. And it's gonna be sad when Mark Waid does leave this series. But Daredevil, issue 12 for me, gets a solid 4 stars. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where the series ends, you know, and see where it goes, because obviously it's going to continue after, because they have the Netflix series, so they're going to definitely promote Daredevil a bit more. Alright, so let's move on to number 5, which is Captain Marvel, issue 11. This was a really well done issue. I think it would be a bit higher if it wasn't a Christmas issue. As much as I like that as a Christmas spirit issue, I'm like, I'm kind of past Christmas. It's January now. Don't remind me that Christmas has passed. But overall, it was a really great grounded issue, which I think Captain Marvel needs more of. I like her in space. You know, there's a lot of fun adventures out there, but I feel like Captain Marvel was always a great character that was grounded at the same time. Of course, she loves flight. That's the point of her character, and she loves space. But she also works really well grounded. You know, she has a lot of great supporting characters on Earth. So I kind of miss that, and I'm glad that they brought her back, and she celebrated Christmas in a cool way. And it was mostly about her friend, which for some reason I can't think of her name right now, that she visits. You know, her mother figure. And the mother figure sees everything that Captain Marvel does. It pretends that she's sleeping and unconscious. So overall, it's just a really sweet issue. And artwork is beautiful for the series. I think it fits so well. And it's just a really great, fun issue. And again, I kind of wish this came out in December, but it was a very well done issue. And I hope we get to see more grounded issues like this. So Captain Marvel issue 11 gets 4 stars for me and is number 5 on the list. Alright, so let's move on to number 4, which is Jupiter's Legacy, issue 5. I really enjoyed this issue. I gotta say, the top 4 really good issues this week. And honestly, there's just a lot of great issues this week, but these are issues that like really blew me away. And Jupiter's Legacy only got number 4, and I think got a bit lower because it was delayed. It was delayed for almost a year, and I still don't know how long it will take for our next issue. And it is a $4.99 book, so those are some of the negatives of the book. But the positives is that opening scene where we get to see the government trying to hunt superheroes, and they find a superhero at this like cubicle job, and she becomes big, jumps out the window, and they chase her. It was a really great opening scene. And then moving to Chloe and her son and her husband, them revealing that they are superheroes and they don't care. They're not going to be in hiding anymore. We know that years have passed, and she's going to try to defeat her brother and the government. So it's just a really well done issue, and it makes me really excited to hopefully continue this this journey in this world with this wonderful artwork. So Jupiter Legacies for me gets issue 5 gets 4.5 stars, and hopefully the next issue doesn't take a whole year to come out. And I know they're starting another book, so I don't know if the prequel is coming out or a sequel. I'm so confused, but this was a very well done issue. Alright, so let's move on to number 3, which is Arrow Season 2.5 Issue 4. A really fun issue again. If you're an Arrow fan, I totally recommend Season 2.5. I really did not like the original series. I thought it was kind of boring, honestly, the first one. But finally, the series is connecting to something. It progresses what we know about Season 3, but at the same time, fills in a lot of gaps, and it feels like a story that would be told on television. We get the return of Black Canary, a really cool moment with Laurel and Sarah, so hopefully we get to see their moments grow even more. And then Oliver being under a trance, I would say, and seeing all the people that he's failed. Tommy, his father, his mother, and seeing that he's not the greatest hero. And even Tommy saying, oh, well, I wasn't your best friend anyways, Diggle is. So I thought that was kind of like, kind of a true statement, but at the same time, an interesting one. So, and also Morlaes saying, oh, the only reason I died is because you didn't want to save me, because you didn't want to tell the truth to Thea. Another thing that really connects to Season 3, but also connects to Season 2.5. Maybe that was the reason he didn't get out of those handcuffs and didn't move, because he was thinking of Thea more than anything. So I thought that was an interesting line. So just showing that, you know, Oliver's just human, and there's just a lot of great moments between all the different secondary characters and Oliver himself. Arrow Season 2.5, just a great issue, and I'm excited to see where the Brother Blood story goes next. So I give this issue 4.5 stars. Really well done, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Alright, number 2 is Smallville Continuity Issue 2. I had to get this digital this week because my store didn't have it this week, so hopefully I'll get it next week. But honestly, you know, I love Smallville. I think it's such an under-radar series, but the last couple issues I haven't been loving, you know, especially the villain. The villain hasn't been making me attached, but this issue is how you do an event. That's the best way to put it. This is how you do an event, is bringing all these heroes together, but not forgetting the story. You know, there's a lot of action here, but there's also a lot of character moments, and I feel like events with Marvel, and especially Marvel, I think DC does a bit better with the events, but Marvel, you know, all they do is the action, but forget that you could also have some character story between this action and these events. And Smallville does that. You get to see some great Green Arrow Mia moments. You get to see moments between Superman and Lois. Lois actually going into the battlefield and teaming up with Lex, and Lex betraying her. So little moments like that. You know, why can't I think of his name? The Blue Lantern dying. And who's going to get the Ring of Hope? Like, I'm really interested in that. That was a cliffhanger. I'm like, oh, who's going to be a Blue Lantern next? You know, will it be Lois? Could it be, probably not Chloe because she's pregnant, but who the hell is going to be a Blue Lantern? I'm really interested in seeing that. So overall, I thought this issue was action-packed, progressed the story really well, had a lot of fun moments, and this is how you do an event book, and this is how you do a finale book. So very looking forward to seeing where issue 3 and 4 goes. So I gave Smallville issue 2 4.5 stars. Alright, moving on to number 1. Injustice Gods Among Us, issue 3. Issue 7, year 3. This is my pick of the week, guys. This was a pleasant surprise. It goes back to the beginning in a way, because Superman's in this trance, And he sees his life if Lois did survive. And his life is really happy. He has a daughter. Batman kills Joker, and he ends up going to jail, but he acts differently. He doesn't destroy the world because he killed Joker, but he kind of makes it a better place because he did so, and he knows that. And one of the strongest moments of this issue, honestly, was the Superman and Batman hug, because Batman is like, I gotta do, I killed somebody. I gotta stay here. And Superman's like, if you want to get out of here, I'll get you out, because you did this to save my family. And he's like, obviously Bruce did not want to do this, but that hug right there, especially for a series like Injustice Gods Among Us, where you see these two characters against each other, enemies, you see that they truly are best friends. And what would have happened if Lois didn't die? Just some great moments. Clark being a father was great. The artwork is beautiful. Also, Bruce ending up with Wonder Woman. Lois Lane becoming president. There's so many great little moments here. The Joker saying, oh, well, the only reason I do stuff is for you. I'm performing for you. And then Bruce kind of realizing, yeah, you are. Maybe I should kill you. Especially when he says, I'm going to kill Superman's family. Maybe when the daughter or when the baby's alive. So overall, just such a great issue. And I think this is Tom Taylor's last issue, or getting close to Tom Taylor's last issue, and then we only have 2 more issues left for Injustice Gods Among Us, which is sad, but I think it is time to say goodbye to the series. But hopefully we get another series like this very soon. I gave it 5 stars. A very powerful issue, and I think it was one of the best issues I've read of Injustice so far. So, 5 stars. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please tell me in the comments below what was your pick of the week, what was your worst pick of the week, and everything in between. Of course, I have Comic Uno episode 82 next week, and this is Comic Uno and Comic Frontline. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the Rad Situations. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links for my comic book, like Father Like Daughter, and don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.